So we're going to start off. What is a business plan? So pretty much when you're developing your business plan, and it's very important that you do it yourself because you're going to learn a lot about your own business and all of the goals, information, marketing research, that type of stuff is really going to help you. So you're going to have to define your goals, determine objectives to reach your goals, assess resources and make decisions, create contingency plans for managing changes. So a lot of times businesses need to pivot, and you need to realize that. And rationally assess operational feasibility and financial viability. I'll be honest with you, the reason for developing your own business plan is to convince yourself that this is going to work for you and it's going to be profitable. So keep that in mind. So, in terms of expectations in reality for a business plan, so expectations are that the exact plan is set in stone, but the reality is that it's a living document. It changes. So you should probably revisit your business plan about every 3 months and say, hey, you know, this wasn't working out. Why wasn't it working out? And what do we need to do to fix it? Expectations, bankers and investors want to see 125 plus page document. And the reality is most plans are 10 to 15 pages long. If you have the 125 plus page document, nobody's going to read it. So it's quality over quantity. And less about the owners, more about the business. No, you need to sell yourself. So last month I was at a SBDC conference, and they had a panel of financial individuals there. And I asked the question, what's the first thing you look at a business plan? And I was under the assumption it would be the financials. What's the financial plan? How's it look? Is it profitable? And the answer from these individuals was I turned to the management page, the page, and see what their character is about, what their background is, and do I feel that they're going to be successful at this business? So you definitely need to sell yourself. You have to have your resume attached to the business plan. And again, um, it doesn't have to be lengthy. The business plan is 10 to 15 pages. So, so you got the business plan structure. Executive summary, that's optional. I typically don't include that in my business plans. Statement of purpose, pretty much you want to explain what the project cost is going to be, um, what the funds are going to be used for, and how are you going to be getting those funds, either financing, self-funded, combination of both, that type of thing. Then you're going to go through the description of the business where you're going to say, hey, this is why I want to do this business. These are my products, services, that type of thing. And we'll go in more detail as we go through this presentation. Description of location. Where am I going to be located? Is it going to be a bricks and mortars? Is it going to be an online type thing, or remote type thing? So those are the things that you want to address in the description of location. So description of market, probably one of the most important parts of business plan because you want to have the industry information in there and what your target market is going to be. Description of competition. We all have competition, and we recommend that you list 5 and kind of describe them, what their strengths, what their weaknesses are, and how you can compete with them. Description of advertising. So, how are you going to get the word out? How are you going to have your customers know about you? That type of thing. Description of pricing and sales. So, how are you going to price your product and how are you going to go to market with it? And then you've got the description of management and personnel. So, again, um, you want to sell yourself. You want to be able to tell them that I have the capabilities of running this business. I have knowledge of the industry. And, these are the personnel that I'm going to have to help me do that. And finally, sources and use of funds and financial projections. So I'm looking to borrow $100,000 and this is how I'm going to use the money. And we'll go into detail of that as we go forward. So, description of business. So, why are you looking to go into business? You need to have a narrative that explains why I want to do this. You know, for example, you may have a history with your family where there had a restaurant in the past, and you want to continue to do that. Are your products in development or existing? Plans for new products. So um, you may have business that you're looking to do a cosmetic line, and you have maybe 2 or 3 initial products that you're going to introduce, and then as you go through 3 to 5 year plan, you're going to have 10 products. You want to list that. What makes your product different? So you got a lot of competition out there. So how is your product going to be different from them? So how are you going to price your product? Most expensive, affordable, etc. So are you going to be the low cost provider, or are you going to have a premium product? And how will you acquire your products? So is somebody going to manufacture those for you? Are you going to manufacture them yourself? And how are you determining that there's a demand for your product? So, as you go through the description of your business, you want to clearly explain your value proposition. So, how are you helping your customers? Are you solving a problem? Are you making them more efficient? That type of thing. So, you want to definitely have your name of your business. Who are the owners? The legal entity. So, are you an LLC? Are you S Corp? Are you a partnership? That type of thing. And why do you want to start the business? So, you believe that you have a um, business that can solve people's problems, and you want to explain that. Any license or permits that would be necessary for your business? And is this a startup, an expansion, or a buyout? And when will it start? So what is your time horizon? Is it a product or service? And what sets you apart from your competition? What makes you unique? And of course, hours of operation. And again, is there a demand for your product? How do you figure that out? Well, You could talk to your friends, family, that type of thing, do surveys, go out on Facebook, see what's, what the demand is there. So, when you're developing a business, one of the most important things to understand is your value proposition. And we call that product market fit. So, are you relieving a pain for a customer? Are they gaining productivity from your product? Um, all that type of stuff. So, what are the gains? What are the pains? And a good example is Tesla. Um, so, what is their product market fit? As you can see, their gains. They have a very nice product offering, and they're looking to sell that to people. And um, what is their target market? It's typically upper class male making over 100,000 or more in income, and branding. So they want to sell the car to somebody that thinks that it makes them feel good. So keep that in mind. So Tesla is the value prop. So Tesla aims to provide some of the best in class EV models that offer high performance, energy efficient, long range with convenient recharge stations and sleek designs. So we talked about location next. So describe where your business will be located and why it is the ideal location. Also explain the need for construction. So what's the address? Where is your business located? Are you going to lease? Are you going to buy? And keep in mind, lease terms are very important. And I tell my clients, anytime you're going to sign your name to either a lease or a loan, make sure you um, have an attorney review that. So, are renovations needed? Do you need to do a build out? I mean, it could be as simple as doing a paint job, or if you're, for example, doing a restaurant, you're going to definitely need to have a kitchen. Uh, Advantageous and disadvantages. So, one of the things about a bricks and mortars to keep in mind is parking. So you want to make sure there's significant parking for people to hold on a second. Zoning and environmental regulations. You're going to have to meet with the city and say, hey, this is what I'm planning on doing. Can I, are there any issues? Parking, accessibility, enough said. Describe the decor. So if you are doing a restaurant, you're going to say, hey, I'm doing this Italian restaurant. It's going to be um, really cool. And you're going to want to describe that specifically. So, description of the market. So, in this section, you provide the reader with the information on the industry and your target market. If your research indicates that there is no market for your product or the industry is not strong enough to support a startup, you should reconsider your business. So, I can't stress this enough. The actual process of developing a business plan is to convince yourself that this will work, that your business can be successful. If at the end are not able to convince yourself of that, then you shouldn't go in business. Um, so with the SBDC, we have multiple databases and industry reports that we can provide you. So ask your SBDC consultant for industry reports. We have IBIS World and Vertical IQ that we subscribe to. And from those, you really need to draw conclusions. One of the things in our first step presentation we talk about is making decisions. You're going to be, as a business person, making decisions every day, probably every hour. So you're going to have to draw conclusions from the industry reports and determine, wow, is this a viable business? And from that, you have industry trends, dollars worth per number of businesses, and what are the key factors influencing the industry. Today we've got a lot of things going on with tariffs and all that type of stuff. So is that going to affect your business? Those are key factors. So description of the market, industry at a glance. So this is for coffee production in 2019. It's a little dated, but you will get an idea of what you're looking at. So total revenue for coffee is $13 billion. The profits are $1.5 billion. So the growth going forward is going to be 1.2%. And there's 3,100 businesses that are in the coffee production. And the top one being Smuckers, Keurig, Nestle, and Kraft. So that is the industry information. Now, as a business, what is your target market? So, who's your ideal customer? Typically, we call that an avatar. So, when you're talking about your ideal customer, what does that person look like? Where are they located? How many of those people are in your target market? Business customer. So, you have demographic information, age, gender, income, education, and ethnicity. What are the behaviors? For example, are they buying three, lattes at Starbucks a day? And we have a resource called Demographics Now. It's SBDC resource, and it is very specific. We can tell you how much people eat out in a certain area, and how much they spend on eating out for per month. And then consumer spending. So target market sample. So Fancy Cafe will focus its efforts on targeting the breakfast and specialty coffee drinkers. Fancy Cafe wants to be known as the largest and true coffee house, something that is missing in the area. In this sector, Fancy Cafe will target its efforts on individuals age 18 to 45 years old. In the 3 mile radius, the median age is 38.8 years old. According to data provided by Demographics Now, individuals in a 3 mile radius spend approximately $50 annually on coffee. This creates a potential market of $423,000 for the coffee market. Also, these individuals spend $195 on breakfast away from home, creating a market share of 1.6 million. It's important to note that a portion of this demographic is made up of individuals attending Gannon University, and Fancy Cafe plans to target this group through social media. So that is a very specific target market, and that's what you want to end up with in your business plan. So next section would be description of competition. So everyone has competition. Think indirect competition, restaurants versus home, Netflix versus movie theaters, Tesla versus other autos. So you want to list 5 competitors and don't be nice, determine why you are better than those competitors. Things to consider are price comparisons, performance, quality, warranties, service, features. And how's your competition going to respond? If you're going to have a new restaurant in an area, your competition is going to respond and, probably have discounts or coupons, that type of thing. And so you got to consider when you're looking at your business plan, Facebook versus Instagram. So if you're looking at Facebook, is your target market in the probably late 30s to early 50s? If that's so, you're going to advertise on Facebook. Or if it's 20s to early 30s, you're probably looking at Instagram. And then again, pretty much the same Facebook versus TikTok. Facebook, the age, late 30s, early 50s versus TikTok. TikTok's going to be your teenagers, early 20s, late 20s. So keep that in mind. Uh, Description of competition. So we're talking about local coffee house. Local Coffee House is a national chain of coffee houses that features their own blend of coffee and specialty drinks. Local Coffee House is located at 1515 Peach Street and is considered the biggest competitor of Fancy Cafe. They carry a reputation of serving a fresh donut and a good cup of coffee. They have done a great job of branding their products and being able to enter small to medium markets that larger competitors won't. They advertise freshly baked, but the local location is known for running out of products at peak hours. They also carry a reputation of poor customer service, and their lunch and dinner menus tend to lag behind industry standards. So that's a good sample of your competition. So moving on, description of advertising. So this section is very critically a very critical component to your business plan. It should include what your goals are, what is to be done, how the goals are to be achieved, how they will be accomplished, and who will have the responsibility for executing and achieving the goals. So, as you see, the first thing is if you build it, they will come. No, that's not true. You need to make sure that your customers know who you are, where you're located, what you're all about. You should budget about 78% of your revenue towards advertising. Your marketing mediums, TV, radio, social media. Even though we list social media last, that is becoming probably the number one way to advertise your business. So, how will you measure your effectiveness? So, you want to make sure when you're spending money on advertising, you know how many people you are drawing from that advertising. And then joint ventures, you definitely, if it's a new business, you want to have grand openings. And you probably want to partner with your local chamber of commerce. So meet the team. Description of management. So one of the things that we stress in our first step seminar is that if you don't know your industry or the business you're getting into, you need experience. You need to gain that experience. So get a job at a coffee shop if you're looking to open a coffee shop. So when a lender is looking at your business plan, they want to look at the industry experience. Who are your team leaders, your advisors, your service providers, what your education is, what your interests and skills are, and regional affiliations. Description of management. The management section of your plan will describe all the key players in the business, along with information regarding support people. So, who are the key players? What are their experience? You want to definitely sell yourself and your team, and you want to include resumes. In addition, you want to make sure that this area describes who's in charge of sales and marketing, operations, human resources, accounting, and operations. What are their salaries going to be? And then list accountants, attorneys, advisors, and consultants like the SBDC. So here's a sample of the description of management. So ABC will be managed by owners John and Jill Smith. Resumes are included in the appendix. John will be the general manager with a salary of $50,000 and health benefits. John has 23 years experience, 15 years at the supervisory management level in the field of hospitality, and has held positions with hotels, private clubs, country clubs, and fine dining upscale restaurants. He will be directly responsible for staffing, training, menu implementation, purchasing of inventory and supplies, adherence to budget, cost and revenue, and building maintenance. Jill will be the business manager with a salary of $25,000 and health benefits. She will supervise the office employee who handles general bookkeeping, payroll, and accounts receivable payables. Her tasks will also include advertising and marketing of the business and a supporting role for daily business reservations. Jill will also coordinate yearly tax returns with a certified accountant and will act as a backup employee where needed. Business advisors include the Gannon University Small Business Development Center. So, we were talking about management. Who's going to be the leadership? But underneath that, who are you going to have for personnel? Who are your employees? So you can create an organizational chart. Um, they say that's optional next to that, but if you only have one employee, it's not that big of a deal. But if you're going to have 12 employees, I definitely would recommend an organizational chart. Number of full-time and part-time employees, what skills do they need, job titles, salaries, pay benefits, and 3-year projections. So as you grow, how are you going to add personnel? So here's a sample of the description of personnel. The following positions will be created at startup. Full four full-time kitchen staff, pay ranging between $12.50 and $15.25 per an hour. For part-time cooks, pay range from $10.75 to $12 per hour. Full-time salad bar person, $8.65 per an hour. Full part-time dishwashers, $7.65 per an hour, and 2 bartenders at $8.65 per hour. Additional positions include host person, bus staff, and wait staff. A wage summary sheet is included in the appendix. So, description of pricing and sales projections. Explaining your pricing policy is an important part of describing your marketing strategy. Don't make the mistake of thinking or assuming that your market is driven by price alone. In some industries, this is true, but with most industry is driven by perceived value. This relates to other factors such as durability, reliability, status, quality, etc., that go into the value of price. So think of a Chevy versus a Mercedes. There's definitely different price models there. So, how are you pricing your products? How does your pricing compare to the competition? What are your numbers? Your margins, your markup? If you're manufacturing, what's your shop rate? What's your average ticket price? And how many number of customers do you have? So, what kind of payment terms, length, and discounts, and sales projections for year 1, 2, and 3, and the percentage increase. So, description of pricing and sales projections. So, here's an example. Year 1, year 2, year 3. Number of visits, number of patients, total revenue, potential number of individuals needing procedure within a 15-mile radius, and market penetration. So this would be a good thing to put in your business plan. So if you're looking for financing and you need to explain to the financial institution what you're going to be using the money for. So you're going to include a snapshot of the financing behind the project. Let's say I'm looking for $100,000. How am I going to use that? So how will the money be spent? There's equipment, there's possible land that you're going to purchase, and furniture, fixtures, equipment, that type of stuff. And I'm looking for $100,000, and I'm going to contribute 20,000 of that. And here's a example for a new doctor office. So use of funds: real estate, 100,000, furniture and equipment, 50,000, startup expenses, 25,000, working capital. You're always going to want working capital, anywhere from 3 to 6 months of working capital. And what does that mean? Well, the way I explain it is, if you open your business and you do not have a customer at all for 3 to 6 months, you can cover all your expenses, utilities, lease, all that type of stuff. So for this example, you have $185,000 in total project cost. And the startup expenses are 50,000 for building, 50,000 for remodeling, 25,000 for equipment, 1,000 for computer, furniture and fixtures, 24, attorney fees, costs, closing costs, loan fees, 25, and working capital. As you see, it's 5 months of working reserves is 10,000. Total startup costs 185,000. And where's that coming from? Bank loan of 148,000 and owner injection of 37,000. So Do's and don'ts of a business plan. Definitely open with a strong value proposition and clear storyline. So, what are you offering the customer? Does it solve a problem? Does it help them? And you want you do not want to write it in the first person narrative. What's that mean? It's like, I want to do this. No, it's more like John Doe is looking to start a business, and this is why. Understand market demand, get within, get written quotes, get written quotes. So when you're saying, I'm going to borrow $100,000 and I'm going to use it for this, that, and the other thing, well, you want written quotes for this, that, and the other thing. Even if it's just going online and say, hey, this equipment I found on this website and this is how much it costs. Professional appearance. You definitely, you know, it needs to be in a Word document and do grammar check, do spell check, all that type of stuff. And be realistic. You can't sell a business that you think is going to do $1 trillion in business. Um, Things that you don't want to do. I mentioned the first person narrative. Please do not pay someone to write your business plan. The whole purpose of developing a business plan is to convince yourself that this is definitely something that's viable. And if you pay somebody to do that, it defeats the purpose of writing a business plan. Guesstimate startup costs, get firm start costs. Plagiarize sample plans. So obviously, if you go on the internet and say, hey, AI, I want you to develop my business plan for a restaurant in this area. Yeah, you're going to get a business plan, but it defeats the whole purpose of developing a business plan. And then write a general plan for everyone. You really, really want to know your audience and your target market. And also, um, if you're writing for a business plan to get financing, you really want to understand what is important to the bank. Management is going to be number one. Probably the financials are going to be number two.